I need you to listen carefully. I don't care if you believe me, I don't need you to. But once you hear my words, they will stay with you. They will bury themselves in your mind, and you will never be able to forget them. Because after tonight, you will know what I know. And I promise you, knowing is worse than ignorance. I thought I understood fear. I thought fear was that rush of panic when you almost step into oncoming traffic. The pit in your stomach when you wake up from a nightmare. The chill that runs down your spine when you hear something move in the dark. But I was wrong. Fear isn't just a feeling. Fear is alive. It watches, it waits, it feeds. And once it finds you, it never lets go. I don't remember the first time it came. I don't know how long it had been watching before I noticed it. But I know when I realized I wasn't alone. I was 10 years old, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the wind howl outside my window. It was late, far too late for a child to be awake. But something felt wrong. The air was thick, heavy. The silence wasn't normal. She said, and then I heard it, a whisper. I couldn't understand the words. They were too soft, too distant, but they were there, curling through the darkness like a breath on the back of my neck. My heart pounded. I turned over in bed, pulling the blankets up to my chin. And that's when I saw it, a shape in the farthest corner of my room. It wasn't moving, it wasn't breathing, but I felt it watching me. My body locked up, every instinct screaming at me to run, but I couldn't move. My limbs felt frozen, my breath caught in my throat. The whispering grew louder, still muffled, still distant, but now I could hear something underneath it. A slow, deliberate scratching. The sound of nails dragging across wood. I wanted to scream. I wanted to close my eyes, to make it go away. But then it shifted. Not a step, not a lunge. Just a slow, unnatural tilt of the head. It knew I could see it, and then it smiled. That was the first time I saw its mouth. Too wide, too sharp, teeth like shattered glass gleaming in the dark. I don't remember what happened next. I must have blacked out. When I woke up, it was morning. The corner was empty, but something had changed. Because I knew deep in my bones that it was still there. It never left. For years I tried to convince myself it wasn't real. I told myself it was just a nightmare, a childhood hallucination, the way kids see monsters in the dark. But no matter how much I lied to myself, I always felt it, watching me, waiting. And then, a few months ago, I made a mistake. I acknowledged it. I was brushing my teeth, staring at my tired reflection in the bathroom mirror. It had been a long day. I was exhausted, the kind of exhaustion that makes your thoughts feel sluggish, your body heavy. Then I saw it, not in the corner, not in the shadows, in the mirror, standing behind me. It wasn't blurred, it wasn't distorted, it was clear, sharp, grinning. I spun around so fast I almost fell, but there was nothing there. I turned back to the mirror, my breath shaking, my fingers gripping the sink so tightly my knuckles turned white. And then it waved. I ran. I left my apartment that night, stayed with a friend, drank myself into oblivion, trying to drown out the whisper in the back of my mind. The whisper that told me I had acknowledged it, and now it was closer than ever. It didn't stay in the corner anymore. didn't stay in the shadows. It started appearing in reflections, windows, screens, the surface of my coffee in the morning light, always watching, always smiling. And then it spoke. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling the way I did when I was 10, too afraid to close my eyes, too afraid to sleep. The air was thick again. The silence was wrong. Then, right beside my ear, you let me in. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I could only listen. I see you. I know you. You are mine now. The voice wasn't human. It wasn't deep, wasn't raspy, wasn't distorted. It was empty, like a voice spoken through a hollow shell stretching through the dark. Then I felt it. Fingers too long curling over my shoulder. I snapped. I lunged out of bed, grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a lamp, and swung. The bulb shattered, light exploding in a shower of sparks. But I didn't care. I ran. I ran until my lungs burned, until my vision blurred, until I had nowhere left to go. But it doesn't matter, because I know now. I know the truth. It was never outside of me. It was never waiting in the dark. It was always inside. And now I can feel it, digging deeper, taking more. My reflection moves when I don't. Sometimes I hear my own voice whispering things I don't remember saying. Sometimes, when I look in the mirror, my eyes aren't mine anymore. I don't sleep, I don't eat, I don't leave my apartment. Because I know what happens next. I know how this story ends. Soon it won't be a whisper anymore. Soon it won't need the reflections. It will step forward. It will take me. And when it does, I will disappear. And someone else will tell this story. Because that's how it works. That's how it's always worked. And now that you've heard it, now that you've listened, it knows you too. So tonight, when you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling the air grow thick around you, if you hear a whisper, if you feel a presence, do not turn around. Do not acknowledge it. Because if you do, you let it in.